Torrence Hatch, better known by his stage name Lil Boosie, is an American rapper from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hatch was bestowed the nickname Boosie by his family, and he was raised in southside Baton Rouge. He served time in the Louisiana State Penitentiary from 2009 to 2014, being sentenced to 8 years after pleading guilty to drug charges. He was released early on March 5, 2014. Early life: Hatch was born and raised on W. Garfield Street, a poor neighborhood in southside Baton Rouge. It was notorious for drugs and violence, a place feared by the general population. Boosie grew up with his mom and dad, who nicknamed him after the 70s funk legend, Bootsy Collins. Although being raised by both of his parents was a rarity in his neighborhood, Boosie still struggled with dysfunction inside and outside of his home. His father died when Boosie was young. Boosie started rapping on tracks near when he began high school. Boosie became very involved in basketball to stay off the streets while attending high school and was actually expected to move on to college-level basketball, but his involvement with drugs got him expelled from school. After being expelled from school, Boosie became serious about his music. A mutual friend of Boosie and local rapper, C-Lock, introduced the two and gave him the opportunity to record his homemade raps in a professional studio. Music career: 1998 to 2001, Camp life and youngest of Tha Camp, Boosie became serious about his music, deciding to become a professional rapper. Lil Boosie teamed up with Baton Rouge rapper C-Lock in the late 1990s. He started off as the youngest member of the concentration camp at the age of only 14. Boosie joined the concentration camp group in 1998, after the release of the group's second studio album Concentration Camp 2, The Holocaust. He worked with rapper C-Lock and the camp and made his debut on C-Lock's fifth album, It's a Gamble, in 2000 under his old alias Boosie, and Concentration Camp third studio album Camp I Thug Brothers in 2000. Soon after, he released Youngest of Tha Camp, his debut album, in 2000 on Camp Life Entertainment. The album quickly gained popularity, and was widely known in Baton Rouge. At the time of this album's recording, Boosie was only 17 years old. The album production was mostly handled by Happy Perez. The album featured C-Lock, Max Minnelli and Donkey and more. After the incarceration, Boosie once again turned back to the streets. Ultimately, his behavior led to him also being incarcerated. The album sold 13,000 units. 2001 to 2003, Trill Entertainment and For My Thugz. At this point, Boosie felt as though he was a failure. However, fate lent Boosie a hand, and Boosie had an opportunity to join an up-and-coming record label called Trill Entertainment, which was backed by its CEO, the late Pimp C of UGK, in 2001. Trill signed Boosie and assisted him in bringing his legal issues to an end. Soon after, Trill independently released his debut album For My Thugz as his new alias Lil Boosie in 2002. This release went on to sell over 15,000 copies. As of 2013, the album has sold 90,000 copies, according to Trill Entertainment. The album features Pimp C, Young Bleed, Webby and more. 2003 to 2005, Ghetto Stories, Gangsta Music and Warner Brothers. Later in the summer of 2003, Pimp C teamed up Boosie to co-star with one of his label mates, Webby, on the album Ghetto Stories. The album also went on to sell well over 15,000 copies. As of 2013, the album has sold 120,000 units. In 2004, Lil Boosie and Webby released Trilla's Mixtape and Trilla's Mixes 2. They freestyled over the hottest songs of 2004. Boosie paired up again with Webby to release their second compilation album, Gangsta Music. This is what really gained him popularity. According to Trill, the album sold 320,000 copies. Boosie's unregistered trademark talent was now undeniable, and he caught the eye of some Universal Music Group representatives. In 2004, Lil Boosie and South Coast Coalition released both sides of the track. January 1, 2005, Boosie teamed up with Lava House Records to release United We Stand, Divided We Fall. He also released Street Code with Pat Lorenzo. In 2005, Lil Boosie released Badass to promote Badass. In late January 2005, Boosie signed a deal with Warner Brothers. Records, 2006 Euro 2008, Badass and Survival of the Fittest. In early 2006, Trill released Badass Mixtape Volume 1 as a follow-up to. In 2006, Boosie's major label debut album Badass was released. It contained the single Zoom featuring Young Jock. A Badass DVD followed where the rapper explained the death of his father due to drugs and his fight against diabetes. Late in the year, the Streets Is Mine mixtape appeared in cooperation with DJ Drama. In 2007, Lil Boosie released Badass Mixtapes Volume 2. In 2007, Boosie and Webby was on the remix of Wipe Me Down by rapper Fogs. It was put on the Trill Entertainment compilation album Survival of the Fittest, which was released in 2007. In 2008 Boosie released Our Beginning mixtape. At Lil Boosie's 4th of July Bash party, he passed out his new mixtape, 4th of July Bash. In December 2008, Lil Boosie released Lil Boosie Presents, Da Click, which features Da Click consists of Hatch Boy, Loco, Quick and Bleak. It also popularized Lil Boosie's career. In 2008, Lil Boosie was featured on the single Independent by Webby and was among several rappers to be featured on Out Here Grindin' by DJ Khaled. 2009, Superbad The Return of Boosie Badass and Badass Entertainment. In 2009 Boosie released the return of Mr. Wipe Me Down as a promotion mixtape to his second major album. In 2009, Lil Boosie released the follow-up to Lil Boosie Presents, Da Click called Da Click, Street Kingz. In 2009, Lil Boosie released his second major album Superbad, The Return of Boosie Badass. The first single from the album, Better Believe It, featured Webby and Young Jeezy. There were promotional music videos from the album such as I'm a Dog, and Loose as a Goose. Also in 2009, Lil Boosie had presented his debut label Badass Entertainment. Lil Boosie released Thug Passion on his Badass Entertainment label in 2009. Lil Boosie released Category 7, Badass Hurricane with Hurricane Chris and Untouchable with Lola Monroe. Lil Boosie also released the 25th Hours mixtape which on the interlude he speak on his prison term. 2010, Incarcerated. In 2010 Lil Boosie and C-Lock his former CEO release Unbreakable as a compilation CD. As of 2010, Lil Boosie has announced while he is still in prison on charges of murder and conspiracy, and potentially facing the death penalty, he wants to move forward with his hip-hop career. Boosie released his fourth studio album, Incarcerated, on September 28 on Asylum Records. According to MTV News, the project is almost entirely produced by BJ, although Mouse on the track did some work on it as well. Webby, Fogs and Lil Trill are among the featured guests. Lil Boosie released Gone Till December in 2010, which is a mixed-up album consisting of new music. Badass Entertainment released Should Have Been My Beats. Lil Boosie released 22,504 with BG in 2011 quick release Hit After Hit 3 with Lil Boosie. In 2012 My Brother's Keeper was released with Money BAGZ and Quick. Also under investigation was released as a free download with Ray Vix. 2013 present, Touchdown 2 Cause Hell. In January 2013 Lil Boosie spoke on his prison sentence and said, "I have about 500 songs at the moment. I feel that I'm making the best music I've ever made. The more I go through in life the better my music gets and it's been crazy the last 3 years. I keep my music heartfelt and stick to making real music. I wouldn't even say it's hip-hop music. My music is reality rap. Hip-hop music can make you dance and bob your head, but it can't make you cry or touch your heart like reality rap." On September 13, 2013 it was reported that judges related to his case agreed to return Lil Boosie, his hard drives and his computers. The equipment contains a lot of music he had recorded before going to jail, which could result in new music from him prior to his release. Jeff Weiss, who covered Boosie's trial for Rolling Stone, also reported that Boosie's attorneys believe that he will be released within the next 5 months. On March 10, 2014, Lil Boosie will make his first comments to the public following his release from prison. During the press conference he will reveal his new record deal with Atlantic Records. His first single released would be Show Da World with Webby. In April 2014, he announced that his sixth studio album Touchdown to Cause Hell would be released on July 15, 2014. Bad as Entertainment. Bad as Entertainment is a record label founded by Lil Boosie. In 2008, Lil Boosie formed his own group, Da Click, then his imprint Bad as Entertainment in 2009. Bad as Entertainment also has a subsidiary that was started by Donkey named Track Life Entertainment. Current artists: Lil Boosie, Donkey, Loco, Hatch Boy, Money Bag, Quick, Big Wayne, Young KT, Re-Up, Young Giga, Lee Banks, Boosie Boys. Other ventures. Author: Lil Boosie also showed interest in releasing a memoir entitled The Truth, No Lies. Legal troubles. On October 22, 2008, Lil Boosie was arrested after East Baton Rouge sheriff's deputies found marijuana and a gun in Boosie's car. Boosie pled guilty to third-degree possession of marijuana on September 22, 2009 and was sentenced to 2 years in prison the next day. Judge James Moore doubled the sentence on November 10 after finding Boosie had violated probation while awaiting sentencing. Between his plea and sentencing, Boosie was electronically monitored and placed under house arrest. On June 17, 2010, Lil Boosie was indicted on federal charges on first-degree murder of Terry Boyd. He also faces charges for 3 counts of possession with intent to distribute narcotics, 3 counts of conspiracy to commit possession with intent to distribute narcotics, and 2 counts of conspiracy to introduce contraband into a penal institution. He has stated that he is innocent of these charges. District Attorney Hiller Moore stated that the killings seem to be over turf. If convicted, Lil Boosie may face the death penalty. Prosecutors have stated that they believe the rapper may have been involved in at least 5 other murders. On June 28, Lil Boosie entered a not guilty plea in a Louisiana courtroom. While Boosie's defense addressed the fact that the rapper has several ongoing cases, they emphasized that he is not a murderer. On November 29, 2011, Lil Boosie was sentenced to 8 years in state prison after pleading guilty to the drug charges. On May 11, 2012, a jury found Lil Boosie not guilty of the first-degree murder. On December 7, 2012, after it seemed Lil Boosie was to remain in prison for 7 more years due to drug charges, Lil Boosie's attorneys were able to argue that the drug ring charge was a set-up. This was because the informant offered to provide codeine syrup for Lil Boosie, an admitted codeine addict, in exchange for his help. On December 19, 2013, it was revealed Boosie will be released from prison on August 18, 2014. However, the following day his brother manager revealed that the release date had been pushed up to February 2014. Then on January 29, 2014, it was confirmed that Boosie had his final hearing on February 13, 2014, and he would be released during the following week. He was then released on March 5, 2014. He will remain on parole until 2018. Personal life: Lil Boosie grew up without a father figure in his life, as his father was murdered while he was a child. His mother is Jacqueline Hatch. He is married to Walnita Dekiwi Hatch. The couple have 3 children, Torrence Hatch, Jr., Aviana Hatch, and Talisha Hatch. Shortly after Bad As was released, Boosie announced that he had diabetes. On March 9, 2013, while incarcerated, it was announced that Lil Boosie had earned his GED certificate. Discography: Studio albums, 2000, Youngest of Da Camp, 2002, For My Thugz, 2006, Bad As, 2009, Superbad The Return of Boosie Bad As, 2010, Incarcerated, 2014, Touchdown to Cause Hell, Collaboration albums, 2000, C-Lock Present Camp 3, Thug Brothers, 2003, Pimp C Present, Ghetto Stories, 2004, Gangsta Music, 2004, C-Lock Present Camp 4, Thuggin' From the Inside, 2007, Trill Entertainment Presents, Survival of the Fittest, 2010, Trill Entertainment Presents, All or Nothing, Filmography, Films, Gangsta Music, Badass, On the Grind, Last Days, Ghetto Stories, The Movie, Awards, Ozone Awards, 2008, Club Banger of the Year, 2007, Best Rap Album, 2007, Best Breakthrough Artist. References. External links.